in the mountains today with a couple good friends, and we're doing some scouting for some archery elk, some rifle mule deer, and some rifle elk. And we're just going to do a how-to on setting up trail cameras on public land, just for those of you that don't know or maybe want to set up some cameras and you're not really sure what to do. So we're here on some national forest land. Kind of a nice area. We think it'll produce. We've seen some tracks, some different scat and whatnot, and decided we'll set a camera here. So generally what I look for as far as camera placement goes anywheres is I want the camera to face north based upon the sun and the direction of travel of the sun. That way you don't have like half glare images or they get triggered and it's just all white due to the sun shining in on it. And also look for an area where you got a good trigger range, meaning the camera you have can be triggered out, more than just 20 feet, because it doesn't have trees that are in the way or maybe will block like the headshot on what could be a trophy animal, and you just won't see it because there's a tree 10 feet in front of the camera. So nothing more frustrating than getting a picture and all you can see is the body and you don't know what it is, especially if you only have a bull or a buck tag and that turned out to be a doe or something. But again, that's why it's scouting, that's why it's hunting. So being as we're on public land, I like to get away from the trail, and I also like to look for an area where maybe there's not going to be a campsite within 100 yards of your camera or right in front of your camera even. So right here it's kind of a wetter, marshy area almost, but it's good area for elk to be roaming through, good area to see mule deer passing through this low drainage, and with it being wet, you're less apt to have campers in the area. So then as far as what I like to mount it to, good sturdy tree, something lively. This one's a little dead, but it's still got green in the top, so I know the core is still good. I hate mounting to something dead in case there's a big wind or a storm. You never want to see come in and have your camera blown over. So for public land or anywhere where I'd be placing a camera for elk, I like to use a lockbox. So the camera I'm placing today is a Moultrie cam. So I got a Moultrie camera box for it, and this box is for two purposes here. It's one, to keep the camera safe from theft, but also to keep it safe from the animals and the elements too. Most of these cameras just out in the elements will be fine, but you hear stories of elk on numerous occasions. They're animals, they get curious, and they'll come up to a camera and rake it all up and destroy it. So you get these lock boxes, and a lot of times it'll come with attaching hardware, so it'll have some lag bolts and whatnot, but I, out of personal preference, even on private land, don't like to use that. I'd rather use a quick attach strap. It's quick, it's easy. When you go to move it, you don't spend 10 minutes getting it off the tree. So I normally place it up on the tree and get my angle I want, point it out pretty good, and I personally like it about chest height. I don't like getting them too high, and I don't like setting them too low because that increases your chances of a wind trip. And nothing sucks more than getting a camera or going to check a camera and realizing you have a couple hundred photos and most of them are just tree branches moving because maybe it was stormy during that period and whatnot. So, like I said, I'm not using the lag bolts. Simply attach the camera like this with this strap, which holds the placement of the camera sturdy. Then I'll just loop this through here so it's out of the way. Helps reduce something blowing in the wind that might attract animals. Nothing more frustrating than that. So now that I have this placed, it's fairly sturdy, It does wobble some, but just sitting here on the tree, it's going to be fine. I'm going to take this wing nut or bolt, which is designed to come up through the bottom of the bracket to mount the camera sturdy within the bracket and to help you slightly angle it within there if you want. So now the only part I don't like about this camera box and this style is I have to open the camera up, make sure my setup's good on it first. So it says it's 10 o'clock. We'll check and make sure it is in fact 10 o'clock, 10:02. So we'll go with that. And knowing that, I know that the camera I didn't pull the batteries from my last time setting it up. The date stamp's going to be good, the time stamp's going to be good, because herd animals like this aren't as big on it, but especially if you're maybe scouting for whitetails or something, those are an animal you can pattern a lot of times up until the rut. So it's good to know what time they're coming through. So we're going to turn it on. We're going to close this. And now this is the only terrible part, is it's going to take a few pictures of me while I'm setting it up, finishing the setup, because of the style. But it's pretty simple. Screw that in tight. Camera's on. Take your faceplate, put it back over here. Now the security portion of this, as far as theft goes, comes in right now, and that is these Python cables from Master Lock, which this is my first year using them, and I'm quite fond of them. They work really good, they're pretty secure, and they're convenient. And what I do like about this box style is, you see here, when I push this through here, this plate is going to be locked on with the cable, so I don't need a cable and a padlock. The cable alone will suffice. We'll rip that tag off. Please remember not to litter. Nothing sucks more than ruining a perfectly good area for everyone else to use just because you like to create a mess and don't follow the rules. And this just has a simple directional arrow. And then you just push this through. I like to put it on there real tight, and then people can't even try and pry on the box at all. And if you look, it can't come off. It's on there, secure. I have the keys. I'll just wrap this up a little bit here. Wrap this back around. And the last and final thing I like to do, once it's all secure how it should sit against the tree, is take a look at it and adjust the angle of it. And this can be done simply by putting a stick in behind it, in between the tree and the camera, to help point it down a little bit, because not everything you see is going to be right in front of the camera where it'll trigger it. So if it's pointed up over 30 feet, you might miss a smaller animal, which maybe that was the first thing that came into frame or the trigger zone, whereas the pan on the camera, the field of view, you'll be able to see it further out. So that's what I do to set up camera on public land and keep it secure. So far I've had good luck, and I mean, I've had pictures of people before coming right up to them, but the cameras are secure, they're not messed with. I've had pictures of animals right up smelling them, and the cameras are safe, they're functional, and you get some good quality stuff out of them. Thanks for watching.